So how are you, Lindsay?
I'm doing considerably well.
Considerably well.
Yeah,
Great.
I found my calling in life, Rob. I've been waiting a long time for a calling.
Okay, what's your calling?
Podcasting.
Podcasting.
I'm in love.
So, yeah, on the note of podcasting, how many times have you and I sat down and tried to record this?
This one? Oh,
In
oh,
general.
3 at least. Right?
Several, yeah. And, who's published?
Oh, that'd be me.
And who's still stuck in the nethers of trying to get the first episode done?
Oh, that would be you.
Yeah, yes it would. So, welcome to the first third episode. No, as you and I have been playing with recording, I think I finally found the secret to you and I podcasting.
So,
Welcome to the 42 Podcast, where we discuss life together, looking for answers to life, the universe, and, well, everything else. Here are your hosts, Rob and Lindsay. Good morning, Lindsay.
Buenos. Okay. Hello. How are ya? I was trying to speak Spanish. And I failed.
What language did you take in high school?
I took Latin for a year, and it was too hard. And I took Spanish, and I liked it better. It was fun.
I did 2 years of Latin, 1 year of German, and then we moved, and they only offered Spanish and French. So I was a senior in high school sitting with a bunch of freshmen
Oh, man.
doing Spanish 1.
Yeah.
I really regret that I did not just do Spanish for my whole high school career. I should have.
Yeah, but you heard German, and, like, your nascent beard tingled in your face.
Yeah, except the beard is most definitely not German. It's Scottish.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
still.
I prefer to cling to my mad Scottish roots.
You mad Scott, you.
Well, hey, Hadrian looked and said, we don't know what's going on with those guys up there, but we're going to build a wall to keep them out.
How about... Yeah.
We'll call that the end of the world. We don't need to deal with them. So.
Yeah.
All right. So, it's been a year.
It has been a year.
Yeah.
Scrolling through the episodes we've done, it's like, this doesn't feel... Like, the swearing episode was only in June. That came out in June, and it feels like it was just yesterday.
And I know, but I mean, I'm going back further and going, looking at that first arc of 5 episodes. I mean,
Yeah.
you were digging in pretty tough, pretty hard on...
I know, I wasn't really nice to you.
It's okay, though.
Yeah.
It was good challenges. It was good, in my opinion, it was good conversation. I didn't feel frustrated. You did. A lot.
Yeah.
We would do an episode, and then like 2 days later, you'd text me, and I'm still mad that you said this or didn't react in this way, or it was always little things like that.
Well, it's because I always built my case or like had my thoughts all ready to go, and I thought you were gonna zig, and you always zagged. You never did what I thought you were gonna do, and I should have started to count on that, but I was still a fool. And thought I could pin you down or figure out what you were gonna say, and then have a... No, you were a very slippery one. You and your left turns.
Well, it was good though, because I mean, it offered challenges, it offered pushback, it offered... I always tried to be a little relaxed and non-fluxed in the episode, but there were times when I was walking away from some of those episodes and just being like, whew, I gotta think about that. I gotta refine what is my argument for.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were some ones that you thought were going to be these hard-fought and hard-won arguments, and, you had everything laid out and presented, and you'd start... And with like
Yes.
a couple of words, I undermined your whole premise.
Because you would agree with me in spots that I didn't think you were going to agree with me, and then it screwed everything up.
But then there would be these areas where you would just ask a simple question, and I walked away feeling frustrated because it was, I need to wrestle with that a little bit more. I didn't always
Yeah.
show that, but it was, and I guess that's kind of what I enjoyed with those early episodes, is in a lot of ways we were fighting through some stuff, and
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think it was good.
I think it was too, because I can't think of a better opponent in the sense, like, you were the perfect opponent because I was comfortable pushing back, whereas, I don't know, talking to my pastor or somebody that was like a mentor, I wouldn't really feel comfortable yelling at you. And it was really what I needed at the time. And there's still stuff about that. Like, I'm not going to think about creation or evolution for a long time. A long time, because I'm still not really sure. Or maybe that's a dumb statement. It's not really that important to me right now. What's important to me is Jesus and knowing him, and the other stuff is details, including, like, I know we did an episode of Revelation or the end times, and that's sort of in that camp too, where, like, I really don't care at this point. And so it's all in that camp, so I can look back on it and think, maybe someday I'll go back to that, but I think it's still kind of like a wound a little. Not that you wounded me, but it's still sort of the sensitive topic for me that I'm not really ready to. So I just contradicted myself because I said I didn't care, but that it's a wound. I guess it's not something that is worth broaching to me at this point. I don't care to broach it. That's what I meant.
And I guess I'll just toss this in there, where the nature of what is creation and times, the exact mechanisms and means of all of it are widely and hotly debated. Always have been, always will be. In some of those early episodes where we talked about, there's one creationist who I vastly disagree with, because I find their view unimaginative and boring. So even in theological terms and arguments, there's a very vast pushback in all areas. And that's okay. Because I think at the end of the day, the thing that, and we forget this, and I'm saying this more about theologians than you and I, is that we forget that the point of it is Christ. Because it's really fun to get into some of these arguments sometimes and be like, hey, I know the answer. No, we speculate the answer.
Yes.
And I think that's what we lose track of.
And I keep, like, in my prayer life or my devotional life, I'm asking God, like, I want to know you more and I want to press in more. But when I think of, like, okay, I want to learn, but I don't, to me, the pursuit of knowledge hasn't gone so well for me. It's only really caused problems. Not that knowledge is a problem, but knowledge, it just sort of was kind of in the way. And I think it's possible to know Christ in a deeper place than just with my head. And that's what I want to pursue. I think is something that can't be refuted with knowledge, because it's deeper than that. And I think I've always tried to ascertain or attain him with knowledge. Like, I want to understand, I want to get it, I want to capture the idea and pin it down and figure it all out and have an assurance of his existence and logically prove blah blah blah. And really, that just made me really angry and didn't get me anywhere. And ultimately it's not about that somehow, which is kind of maddening in a logical way. Like, I feel sometimes, I still have this panicky feeling sometimes, like I'm giving up. Like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
But it's fleeting. It's fleeting.
And that's okay. It is. It's okay to still wrestle with it. I mean, I still wrestle with it. And I think anyone who's in ministry, who is a believer, who goes to church and says I am 110% secure, I have questions. And I guess, and perspective based, I mean, part of the reason why when we started this, I appreciated your voice, your perspective, was because I knew you were a curious individual. A solid answer was not always a solid answer. You didn't need to find a dogma and stick to it. You just needed to be able to ask questions. And I like to think that's who I am and what I do. I like to value that in others. Sometimes. There are times where I do find it annoying. It's, no, we don't need to ask and deal with that. But, you know, there's a beauty to it, I guess, in curiosity. Because curiosity, yeah, fine, it killed the cat. But hey, that cat was exploring and having fun.
You know what occurred to me? That, because I was looking back at our episodes, and there's like 4 Star Wars episodes that came pretty close after all this stuff. And it occurred to me that Star Wars was like my limbo between atheism and Christianity. Star Wars was my safe place between until I was ready to sort of move back. That's maybe why I love it so much.
Okay, so from my end of things, I enjoyed doing the Star Wars arc of things, but what I felt like needed to happen in that 4 episode chunk was you just needed to unplug. You needed to kind of walk away, escape from where all of these discussions had been, and just have something else to be entirely geeky about and put all of this in a background process.
That's exactly what Star Wars did for me. Yep. You win! You did it!
Sorry, that was my guess.
Yeah.
There was part of me that was like running that and thinking, okay, I think this is why she's doing this. And then there was another part of me going, she could also be doing this to try and, throw me off and throw all of this off and just change the discussion.
I'm not that smart.
I was 50-50 between those two thoughts.
Yeah. I think I read like maybe 20 Star Wars books this year.
That's a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
Dawkins, Star Wars, and then Jesus. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I've read almost 50 books total this year.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit.
Oh, yeah. Our challenge, the book club.
Well, I think that would be a good challenge starting in 2022. Do a book a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that's a lot of reading, but I still think that would be good.
And it doesn't really work out that way. It just sort of happens. Like, you just found, like, wow, I've read 3 books this month. I've read 4 books this month. Happens. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so everybody who doesn't know, I'm going to give a nod to Goodreads, which is an amazing website and app. And you can go on there, and it's kind of social media, but it's not. It's really about books and reading. And you can make lists of books you've read. You can make lists of books of what you want to read. Books you're currently reading. You can keep updated with your progress in a book. You can rate books. You can spy on your friends and what they're reading. And but one cool thing is at the beginning of January every year, you can make a challenge, a book challenge, and you can see what your friends' challenges are too. And I am fairly competitive, and having kids, my challenges in the past have been pretty small. And I think the year I had Evelyn, I didn't even meet my goal. I think my goal was 25 books, and I didn't even read that many. But this year, I was brave and bold, and I said 50. I'm going to read 50 books this year, because that was actually, like, a stretch. And so my plan is, why don't we, as a podcast audience, go on Goodreads because it's fun and we can all be friends. And you can find me, and that would be fun. Or just make a list and let's do a challenge. So make a goal for yourself and let's see who can meet their goal, or something fun and competitive, and we can update each other on what we're reading. And
so here's what I'm going to recommend that you do, because we've talked, I support this idea. I think it's great. Why don't you go ahead and go on Goodreads and see if you can set up what is the 42 podcast group or something along those lines. so that
I can do that.
yeah, so that we can then share that with our social media links. And I'm going to push that we do this starting into the new year. Not just yet, but
Yes.
new year.
I don't think we can, actually, for Goodreads. I think we have to wait till January.
Okay, which is fine. But if you want to start setting that up, I'll get an account set up. We'll share it through our social media stuff, which, I've been trying to post now every day, at least with the Facebook group, or not group, but the Facebook page. What we're doing, what's going on, things like that. And technically we're recording this, and tomorrow is Halloween. Mm-hmm. So I want a picture of you dressed up or something being goofy.
Okay,
Go
I will
chase
take
someone.
pictures of someone.
Go chase somebody with the lightsaber. There you go. The dark saber I sent you. Just go chase somebody with that and take a picture.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
I'll do something and take a picture and it'll be hilarious.
That works.
Colby's coming! Yay!
Good.
Colby's coming trunk-or-treating. I'm so glad.
Good.
Solidarity.
Yeah, we already
It makes
did.
everything more fun.
We already did our trunk or treating event, which was incredible. We're rabbit trailing away from our episodes discussion, but it was a great event.
Good.
I'm really impressed with how many people. It's almost like we had a year off where everyone was inside in a state of panic, fear, and mistrust, and just being able to be outside again.
Yes.
Because the estimate for how many we saw come through our church parking lot is between 400 and 500 people.
That's it's a lot of candy.
Past estimates have always put us at about 250 to 300. Mm-hmm. And this year it looked like it was about 4 to 5. So that's a lot of people. But
Very good. Very good.
anyway,
That's awesome.
random aside. Halloween. Happy Halloween. A week late. So, moving past Halloween, I want to bring up one of my favorite episodes.
Definitely.
And
Let's hear it.
Forgive me. I'm bringing it up because I really enjoyed how deeply flustered, angry, and annoyed it made you.
Oh. What?
Which one do you think it was?
Probably one of the creation episodes about The Simpsons. I still can't forget that. The side of bacon.
Me and my Simpsons heresy?
It was flabbergasting, yes.
Nope.
But which one? Which one did I get more flustered and mad at you than that?
Episode 5, I believe, talking about my belief in Santa Claus.
Oh, yes! Yes! Right. Yeah.
You were so angry, so flustered, so annoyed with me on this one.
Yeah.
And even at the end of it, you were just... I remember you were still a little like, fine, it makes sense, but...
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I try not to be that person who's like, yay, I have annoyed and flustered and frustrated someone. But I really felt good about it at the end of that episode.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a good
It was. Oh my gosh.
one.
And, I'm excited. We're doing a big church event. And in that episode, I mentioned there's a guy who is a grandfather to one of my students. And he does Santa all year round. And, he dresses in all red. He's got the beard and he styles it, wears the glasses. When you see him in summer, he looks like he's Santa on vacation. And he even plays into that where, kids will do double takes like, is that? And he'll do a sly wink and a nod and big smile with the rosy cheek. We're bringing him out to the church. He's going to do St. Nicholas for us for a big Christmas event and Living Nativity Story. And, he's that guy who embodies what I was talking about in episode 5. Just that belief in what the good can be, in what the Nativity brings into the world. So, I'm excited. It's still October, and I'm getting excited for Christmas. I'm breaking my number one rule.
I think it was that episode and the aliens episode.
Oh my!
And I was like, what am I getting myself into? I can't believe I'm doing this.
Oh, I forgot about the aliens episode. That was another good one. Oh, which one was that? That was
Wait, I believe? Was that... Oh, no, that was Santa.
yeah, Santa was, I believe. I don't
The
know.
Truth Is Out There. That's episode 3.
Oh, wow.
That's only episode 3.
Yeah, it feels like we did
Wow.
that in January.
Yeah, well, you know why? It's, I think, because we had recorded probably 3 or 4 episodes that never really made the cut.
More than that.
Yeah, and so I think it feels later in the year.
Yeah,
You know, and actually, I've been wanting to figure out how to post something on the 42 Facebook thing, but I'm so sad that I can't do GIFs on it because that's how I express myself is through GIFs.
yeah,
And what I want to say is, like, okay, audience, this has been a journey for both of us of how to podcast and getting the sound right. Because if you go back and listen to those first couple of episodes, I, in particular, sound terrible because I had this cheap, crappy microphone. And even still to this day, like we were editing last week or the week before, and Rob's like, yeah, we need to put you up again because you're too quiet. We're still trying to figure this stuff out. And so I just wanted to say thank you guys for sticking with us and dealing with our annoying ups and downs, and he's too loud, and I'm too quiet, and I'm too loud, and whatever. It's been a process, and so I think we've learned a lot, and hopefully the sound is evening itself out now, and we're more tolerable to listen to.
but even then, on the flip side of all of that is also the fact that, you know, when you and I started this, we didn't have our studio spaces set up like we do now. And even then, you know, we're not in professional studios. We're in pieces of our active houses that we've
Yeah.
carved out. You
Yeah.
know, we have kids and spouses who interrupt us because, well, we have families. And
Life happens.
right,
Yeah.
that's a priority for both of us.
Yep.
But for me, I've always looked at that and felt like that is a very important part of who we are. You know, the family isn't the focus of each of our conversations, but it's that background process that's always there. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about that a little bit later, but so I'll bring that up later. Anyway, jumping back to Facebook. I'm going to pull us back to that. Sorry.
Yes.
Jumble in my head. What do you think of the new Facebook rebranding?
You know what's really embarrassing?
So Facebook has decided to rebrand themselves. It's kind of like how Google, like, you realize there are 3 car companies in the entire world,
Yes.
effectively, okay? And of those 3 car companies, they own multiple little, you know, well, this car company owns this brand, that brand, da-da-da-da-da, all right? Facebook is trying to do something like that. Google did something like that a decade ago, where the parent company of Google is now Alphabet, and they own Google, they own Google Plus, they own Google this, they own it.
Yeah.
So Facebook is using that same kind of model, and they're creating a parent company that is a degree of rebranding, and that parent company is called Meta. Now, I'm frustrated with Facebook for many reasons. Some of them are the business side of things and what feels like used to be good and powerful tools that they've now taken away and put in this weird spot called the business tools that makes no sense to me. But even then, going back, and I feel like them rebranding to Meta is Mark Zuckerberg sitting in his evil lair on a volcanic island with James Bond sneaking up the hill, and they're just slapping a new coat of paint on the sign. And they're still the very evil corporation that is Facebook. But that was a fun episode we did too, talking through social media.
It was a good episode.
It was. Although, again, some of my kooky conspiraciness came out on that one.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that even surprises me looking back at some of the episodes, where it's, wow, there's like a level of kookiness in my conspiracies and thinking that
Definitely.
when I hear myself say some of these things, I'm like, maybe I am a little on the crazy side of life.
Well, wackadoo.
Yeah. But, you know, what Facebook is doing and all of that, it draws me back to that episode, and it's, okay, I love to hate social media.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the tools we're trying to use to continue to promote the 42. I've started to try and promote something else independently of the Iron Gnome printing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't have a second podcast running yet.
Oh, my son was just asking about the gnome you made me.
Yeah?
The little gnome. He was impressed.
I'm going to, there's a companion to the little gnome.
Oh, cute! Little R2-D2.
Yeah.
R2-D2.
He sits on my desk.
That's cute.
That's a printing project for a later date. But there's a little one that sits
Yeah.
on my desk because that's what I want to do.
Toby was saying he was saying that you should try to motorize R2-D2 and put computers in him, and if you don't, he will. He said.
No, that's something I want to do. The
Is
upgrade cycle for the printer I started like back in March with adding a few things to it was so that I could start printing a full size and building a full size R2-D2.
Yeah.
That's kind of my plan. Like, I might be going a little loopy, but I want to build a full-size R2-D2, and I want to join the 501st Legion with a costume, and, maybe I'm going crazy, but, like, it's the 10-year goal.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. He supports you.
Well, next time I send you something, I'll send a small R2 for him.
Okay, he'd love that.
How old is Toby?
He's 9. He just turned 9.
Well, there you go. If it's my 10-year plan, when you guys come down and visit, or we go up and visit, I'll just have to bring R2 parts and he can help.
He'd love that.
So, yeah, we also need to do that sometime, actually get together and do a in-person episode.
Yeah.
With our
I'd love
families.
to come down in the spring.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, the comedian I told you about, he's getting really, really political, though, and I'm not sure I really want to listen to him. I think I'm taking a break from I don't want to waste my emotions on politics right now. It just is tiring. So maybe I'll feel different in the spring, but...
You know what feels really weird? Is thinking about all of this. The politics side of things. We did an episode, and it feels a lot more recent than it was, but it was the day after all of the political unrest of January 6th. It was a bonus episode.
Yeah. Yep, January 7th, we did that.
We talked through all of that with where our political beliefs were, what that day did to change, mine in particular, because after that happened, I went and changed political parties.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was done. I was done with whatever still is going on. So
I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of I feel emotionally just drained, and I don't want to give myself to that stuff anymore. I mean, I want to kind of know what's in the news, like, but only because I don't know. I feel like I have to, but I don't want to care. I don't care. I care anymore.
Well, but we've had some good episodes and good conversations through politics and, things along those lines that have been...
Yeah.
They're tough sometimes, but they're good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And educational and motivating. Like, I like having something to research, and I like having something to think about, and, that's fun. I really enjoy that. I like when you give me homework. Especially
Jeez.
when it entails watching a movie. Like
Oh, what was the movie I told you had to watch?
the social media movie on Netflix.
No. It was, oh my goodness.
Tenet?
Tenet. Thank you.
Yeah, I never watched that.
Oh, you need to watch that. You need to...
I want to do it. I want to watch a movie like that, and then we talk about it.
Okay. We haven't done a movie
Yeah.
episode for a while.
No.
So, I've got no complaints on that.
We could do like a Nolan episode. A Christopher Nolan episode.
Well, did you watch the new Dune?
No, I want to, but I just... Is it good?
In my opinion, I think it is very good.
Awesome.
I'm a little displeased with some things, but I think it's very good. My biggest gripe is that Warner Brothers released it and they said, okay, you know, we're going to make this chunk that is the first part of the book and then just stop, see how the movie does, and then maybe talk about knowing part 2. And
So they don't end it very well? They end it on a cliffhanger?
they end it well enough that you can walk away if you've never read Dune.
Where do they end it? Or should we spoiler? Nah, you
No,
can tell me later.
you haven't
how
watched
they end
it.
'cause I've
You
read the
haven't
book.
watched it. I'm not ending it.
But I've read the book.
I know.
I read the book.
If you like the books, the movies are pretty good. The movie is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I feel like they do their best to, and they start going off at some points, but I feel like they really do their best to be true to the book.
Cool. Good.
So,
Good. That's good. I was getting nervous about it because Colby had said that he was hearing not great things. So I'm glad to hear that.
there are some things that are definitely, but it's good. It's worth it. I think the actors they got to play each of the parts is almost perfect.
You know the fat guy in the chair? That's the bad guy. The fat guy.
Yeah.
Is he in it? Is that character in?
Oh yeah.
And is he good?
They do.
Is he good?
Oh, yes.
Who plays him? Anybody I would know?
Yes. Did you watch Thor?
Yes.
Remember the professor?
Skarsgård? Skellergaard? Yeah. Skellergaard or whatever his.
Slow down. All right. You are way too excitable sometimes. Do you remember the professor guy?
The guy.
So there's
white
Natalie-
guy, and he's.
Yeah, there's Natalie Portman and her professor. The professor.
Yeah. Skellergaard.
Is his name Skelgard?
I think so. It's something Swedish sounding.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes, his real name. Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I know who you're talking about.
Sorry, I
He
thought you were
sounds
calling
weaselly.
him. Yes, he plays the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
Oh, cool.
So, and he's good. He's creepy good. I think so.
Good. Awesome. I loved that character in the book. I thought he was a great character. So
Yeah.
looking forward to watching.
Well, and I think it's done well. So, but we've geeked on. We've gone off on a geeky
Sorry.
little tangent.
Yeah. All right.
But that's
I'm gonna
even
write that down too. We should do Dune sometime.
well. Even then, I mean, that's part of kind of what we're looking at. I guess maybe that brings us to a good spot of looking towards what season 2 is. Yeah, season 2. I talked with you a little bit about an idea. I wanted to talk more on microphone because we could get feedback and kind of develop it. And even as listeners are hearing this and interacting, they can give us feedback. One of the things is you and I really do kind of weave around all over the place on topics. But we seem to have kind of like 4 main categories. Current events and pop culture, spirituality and religion, family, and geekiness. Just general, all-around geeks. And I feel like that's something we could lean into on a monthly rotation. Like, hey, it's the first Monday of the month, we're going to talk about current events. Because, like, current events, Dune would be one of those. But Dune could also fall under categories. But we haven't talked about it, and I really want to talk about it, is what's happening with, like, Rust. Have you followed any of that?
I've been sort of in a hidey hole.
There was a accidental shooting on a movie set. Alec Baldwin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I really
okay,
want to talk
I know
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of thoughts on that. Yeah, so,
Okay.
you know, but things like that, where it's okay.
And there's a lot of flexibility in each of those
There
categories.
is. There
you
is.
know?
And there is a lot of flexibility, but I think if we started a pattern, that is that, where it's okay, first of the month we're talking this, second of the month we're talking that, and lay out what is a tentative schedule, outside of doing an intentional, intended series, where we're like, okay, for this month we're talking about, or this 2 weeks time frame, we're talking about something.
Yeah.
Like the worship series we did with TJ when he came on. That's the same time that we switched our artwork, because TJ made the logo we now use, which is phenomenal.
Yes.
And things like that. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I like that idea. I think having a basic structure is a good idea for us so that we're not like, hey, it's Friday, what are we talking about tomorrow? That'll help, and it'll also help us collect ideas, I think, and have something to sort of, oh, well, this idea will go good in that category, and sort of have hooks for things that come to us. Yeah, I just, sometimes, though, there are things that we talk about, and we're like, we're going to need another week to talk about this, because this is just really good. So I think maybe it might, if we were to break into 2 weeks, would it be okay if it's not so strict? You know, if it wasn't a strict thing that we had to stick by. If we wanted another week to talk about a current event, or I'm thinking when the book of Boba Fett comes out, what if there's so much to talk about that we want 2 weeks?
So,
you know, or something.
All right. Well, let's talk about this one, because this is also a proposed idea that I think would be a great tradition for us to kind of start. We have a little, and I think it becomes a tradition if we do it again, and I think it makes sense to do it again. Okay?
What? Yep.
Book of Boba Fett is coming out soon. I am excited for this. I'm excited for when they do Kenobi.
Yes!
That's the one I'm like, yes, what, many things.
Many things.
Yeah, that's all I can put there, is it's many things, yes. So I'm excited, and I want to talk about all of those things. I think what we do is we make May, we go away from what would be our normal productions, and we just say, welcome to Star Wars Month.
Yes! Please.
Well, but that's what we did, where the Star Wars episodes were in May. Because you got, May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th, and Return of the 6th.
That's so exciting! I'm so glad!
So, I think that's something that we can lean into, though, of, okay, let's do things that are...
May is Star Wars month.
Right. Because it recognizes... Cool. I'm sitting here in my basement studio with a printer behind me, and in the past month, I've churned out 3 lightsabers. Let's talk about how I'm not a Star Wars geek sitting in a basement making lightsabers.
At least it's your basement and not your mother's.
Very true. But my parents are helping us buy the house, so it's kind of my mother's basement.
Oh.
Because that's fun.
I love that idea.
And I think it's okay for us to be like, all right, going back to a more recent example, you and I had the discussion going into the Halloween episode, and I think it was a good discussion. It was one of our longer ones. The raw audio files were almost an hour and a half from each of us, which was a really long episode to edit.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob.
Whew, that was a big one. It was a good one, but it was a big episode to edit. And looking back, I regret that I didn't just say, okay, we need to make this a 2-part episode.
Yeah.
Now, since then, you and I have talked, and there are parts of it that we're both discontent with, and we've said it on Facebook, of this one has been earmarked to be revisited. There's a lot going on here. I didn't explain things as well as I would like to, and I think it's an important one for us to revisit.
Yeah.
So, I think in that structure, it's okay for us to just be like, okay, we need to return to this, and it needs to be a priority, and it'll be the next episode, or we'll do it next month, because it's not as much of a priority, but this is what we need to do.
And sometimes the reason is because we start to get into a topic that we realize we're interested in but don't know much about. Or we're interested in and talk about but aren't satisfied, like you said. So let's give us a couple weeks to read a book about it, read 2 books about it, whatever. And then when we come back to it, we're a little more comfortable with the topic and we can talk about it for an hour. Or whatever it is.
Well, and it also like this. You sent me a video 2 days ago that I finally watched yesterday, but it was from the Bible Project. And I love those guys. I love what they did in creating, the database of, here are the overviews of the books of the Bible. I use that in youth group all the time. But also what they're now doing in going into the words of Scripture. breaking them down, because you
Yes.
sent me the one that was on soul and spirit.
Nefesh.
Nefesh.
Yep.
And that one broke down more of what I was trying to say,
Yeah.
but failing at. Because that is, and we'll talk further, but I mean, that video we should talk about in context to what we were talking about in the spook and spirit episode.
Yeah. Okay, so, yes, absolutely. I agree.
There's part of you's like, dig in now. Or at least that's the look you're giving me.
I'll be good.
But, and that's part of what I've even enjoyed with this podcast, where it's, we're exploring, asking questions, and journeying through a lot of things together. And I think that's good. I think that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
And I think that structure will allow us to lean into that curiosity more than anything else. Yeah.
I like the structure, but I like the flexibility too. A flexible structure.
Well, and that's that's what we need. It is. But something else that I kind of looking forward, and I feel like I always want to be open and have a full disclosure with our audience on, is in the past year, we've not asked for a dime in advertisement time or Patreon or any of that. We've been doing this out of our own pockets, and there's been expense to it. I mean, you talked about earlier on in this where those early episodes, we were still figuring out what is a good microphone and what we needed, and we both settled on the Yeti's Blue microphone, which I think has been phenomenal and good, and we have our own setups, but all of that came out of pocket. I kind of want to begin working towards, in season 2, monetizing this.
Like a Patreon account or something?
I think Patreon would be part of it. I think that we would also do something like, okay, let's start talking about advertisements. And the reason that we went with the podcast hosting system that we went with is because you are free to do what you want. You have that freedom, whereas there are other services that, we'll be free to you, but you have to stick this advertisement in. And I kind of wanted us to not have to do that, of saying, here's this product. I wanted us to be able to say things of, here's a product that we actually like and support. This isn't just a, give me money, give me money, give me money. So even finding things that we like and we support, and hey, maybe we do start just little chunks of advertising. And I want to be, very clear and through the gate on that with our listeners, because it's okay. There are expenses that we're covering out of our own pockets and ideally it would be good to grow this in new and different ways.
At the beginning of the year, I think it was the beginning of the year, you sent me a bag of coffee.
I did.
From a local brewer.
I did.
And not that individual/company needs to be a sponsor or should be a sponsor. However, it might be interesting to get local sponsors. I don't know if people do that. I've never really heard of people doing that. But I think that would be worth.
It would. Some of the audience that we have are people who know me from the church, who know what I do. And yeah, I mean, looking at some of the places I prefer for things like coffee or lunch, if there are people that are interested in that, we're open to it. And we don't want to charge arms and legs.
But considering the reality of our particular audience, most of whom probably know either you or I.
To a degree, we have some people that I don't think either of us know personally.
Cool, that's great.
The audience has grown over the year, and it's been good, and we still want to continue that growth. But part of that growth is also on our end of things of, okay, there's time invested in this, and we kind of want to turn that time around a bit, because it would be great to have second sources of income. I mean, I'm looking at buying a house. A second source of income would be wonderful.
I get paid $0 for being a mom, so any source of income would be cool.
Yeah. But that's also, that's part of what this journey is. And it wasn't the intention moving forward, but it was always a background of, okay, we'd love to get to a point where we could begin to monetize in some way. And we don't want to make this a ridiculous monetization. You know, we're a small podcast. That's okay. I don't know. It's being open and honest of these may be some changes that we do in this coming year. And if we do a Patreon account, we're also going to do stuff where it's okay, you know, here are the levels, and this level might get you access to like a monthly hangout where we get on for a half hour, and hey, if you want to come and talk, here you go. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Be cool to do like Bible trivia or Star Wars trivia or like some kind of trivia night, and whoever wins gets a prize or something fun.
That would definitely have to be something we would record, though, because that would be really cool.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like that would be really cool to, you know, if you're a Patreon, we'll do a trivia night like once a...
Like, yeah, if you're a certain tier, assuming there's going to be like only 3 of those people for a while,
Still.
then we can have a trivia night with those people and whatever, some kind of cool thing like that. That'd be neat.
So it would be all 3 of my mother's accounts and all 3 of your mother's accounts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We love you, mothers. But no, and that would be something neat. And these are things that we're going to look into and explore more. I mean, we've had these ideas and kind of tossed them around in the past, and I think season 2 is really this point where we found our voices in a lot of ways. We found what is our style of podcast, and I think now it's okay for us to be like, okay, let's start hitting the ground running with some more intention. And we've got a flexible framework that we can work within. We've got some traditions that we can look forward to. Mm-hmm. We've got some potentials, and I think season 2 is going to be better than season 1.
So too.
And season 1 started off with some amazing and weird moments. And I think season 2 is going to be... I think it'll be good. Yeah.
Yep. Lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm writing down ideas, and it might be cool for listeners to have a renewed sense of what kind of things do you guys want to hear us talk about. Is there a show, a topic, a movie? Is there a weird spot in the Bible that you're like, what the heck? Or you want to hear us debate? Because we can certainly debate, which would be fun. We haven't debated in a while. Give us a topic to debate on, and we'll debate. Or you can come on and debate us, or we can chat. We're looking for definitely ideas to put in the calendar, so feel free to pipe in.
Yeah, and... you know, we've got lots of things. We still have a long list of things that we wanted to cover when we put that first list together, like beginning of July. And we've only gotten to like a quarter of it, I think.
Yeah, some of that I've even gotten rid of. Some of it I've touched up on. Like, your friend Joey, did you want him?
Yeah, still working on getting him on.
Cool. Joey, come on, Joey.
So, but there's a secondary project that might start running in the background with him. I'm not sure. But he and I are working and talking and figuring some things out. And, you know, we'll see what happens. I want to get Joey on. I want to get Kenny and Nell on. Because we keep saying we're going to do a liquor episode, and we just can't get it scheduled. And so there are things that we're working on and trying to get up and going, and connections, and, yeah. And... when we've had listeners and others on in the past, it's been great. We had TJ,
I really like it.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, we had TJ, we had Kyle, your father. What else have we had on?
We've had Melinda.
Melinda on. We had Colby on. We had back in the Let's Kill Hitler episode, I did that with one of my young adult students and another young man. And... yeah, so I mean, we like it when we have people on. We enjoy the other conversations and perspectives, and you don't have to agree with us.
Oh, yeah, and it's fun if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is we do try to be respectful in disagreement, even if I keep flustering you and throwing you curveballs you can't figure out. Like,
Yeah.
how does this maniac who says he's in ministry believe in Santa Claus or aliens? What is wrong with this? I'm calling the mental institution.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. Good year coming up.
Oh my, well, and it's been a good year. Just finding what is our voice, our style, our patterns and pacing. Because you said about, earlier in this, you said about when you go back and you listen to some of those episodes, the audio is still a little rough and unrefined. And, we're still learning on that one. We're still figuring out and learning. But the other side of it is in those early episodes, we're still learning what is our pattern as podcast host. And it's great seeing that even change as you go through the episodes.
I like you a lot more now. Not that I didn't like you before, but I like you more now. I think we're better friends than ever.
Well, and sometimes you need that contention, though, to walk through in friendships, in marriages, in relationships, to get you to a better point. There's a refinement that happens. And I guess this is maybe one last area for us to kind of leave things on, is ratings and reviews help as well, a lot. Your interaction as an audience, when you guys interact with us, that's huge. Whether it's pushback and no, you're wrong, or support. We don't just want a bunch of, yay, you're always right listeners, because
That'd be boring.
well, and I think it's fair to say that in this past year, you and I have grown because of this. I know there are areas that are outside of my life, not outside of my life, that sounds weird, outside of this podcast that I've grown in because of this podcast. And it's pushback, it's feedback, it's finding and exploring and refining. I think that's true for both of us, and that's part of what I love about what we're trying to build, what we're trying to do. So, yeah. So please,
Cool.
interact, give us a rating, give us a like, a review. Even if it's a 1-star review, I'll take it. That's 1 star. I'll take it. I'll take my single little gold star. And, let us know what you think, because, well, there's value in it. Even negative, there's value.
It'll help us grow.
It will.
I'll be sad. I'll be sad if you give us a 1-star review, but whatever, I'll get over it.
But I think there's value in even being able to see, you get the trolls who are very, stuck in their ways and just want to hate on things. You can normally weed those out, but if it's an honest, no, this area is kind of weird, or areas where we can grow, negative feedback is okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to just live in a positive feedback chamber of, oh, I'm amazing. No, I'm not. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I guess that's one of the biggest things I walked out of seminary with, was the understanding that even now I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm going to find new answers as time goes on. And that's exciting. So this is, I guess, kind of technically the last you and I episode of the season.
It is.
Because you're gone next week, so I'm going to do something maybe a little different. We're going to see what, I don't know. I got a couple ideas.
All right.
I might,
Yeah, so this is it.
yeah, I might dust off a Nope episode, or I might put my sermons, and
Oh. Okay.
we'll see. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet.
The Nope episodes are Nopes for a reason.
I get that. And I think if I introduce it with the look, this is a note for a reason, here are the reasons, or the audio was bad, or I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
There's a part of me that feels like, okay, putting up my sermons feels a little bit vain.
What if you just do clips?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll
right.
communicate with you what I'm thinking.
All right. I gotta go.
Yep, it has been a good season. It has been a good time to explore, and I look forward to what season 2 is.
As do I.
So, all right, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the 42 podcast. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, and if you want to join in on the conversation, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter to add your voice to the conversation. Thank you.